What's up guys, in today's video we're going to run through some recent news for XRP, HBAR, and Casper. Okay, first up for XRP, we had a huge win against the SEC that we'll talk about, but first I wanted to cover this. Ripple the company now is fully licensed to provide digital payment token services in Singapore. Earlier this year, Ripple received in-principle approval of its major payments institution license application from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, or the Central Bank of Singapore. And we also got news that Ripple's subsidiary right here, the Ripple Markets APAC, or the Asian Pacific region, has secured its full MPI license to provide digital payment token services in Singapore. This license underscores the real-world utility of crypto solutions for businesses and financial institutions alike, marking an important step towards wider adoption of digital assets. I also saw one of the dumbest tweets today. It was a guy who's a huge Cardano holder just bashing XRP because the XRP ledger has a solution for central bank digital currencies. Truth be told, central bank digital currencies will interoperate with or even run on other layer 1s. So you think you would be rooting for decentralized layer 1 networks to actually succeed and have these solutions set up so that it's not just some single bank making a walled garden for a central bank digital currency ecosystem. So bottom line, we're rooting for any L1s to even actually have traction with central bank digital currencies. It's important. I would much rather have a decentralized protocol interoperating with or running central bank digital currencies. Do I want CBDCs? Do I want everything to be digital? No. But the future's going there whether we like it or not. I know some of the original Bitcoin community are anarchists, and I get that point of view, but let's be real. The world and the future of crypto is just not DeFi and retail use cases for yield farming. It's actually enterprise and government adoption. I want these protocols connected to all of the money and all the tokenized value in the future, not just retail markets, which are small. So Singapore is definitely in the top 5 or top 10 best countries for actual crypto regulation and utility by the government, as you can see. The Monetary Authority of Singapore has been working with Ripple for years. And last year, Singapore secured the number 4 spot on the IMD World Digital Competitiveness Ranking, which measures a country's ability to adopt new technologies. When we have global finance leaders agreeing that digital assets are here to stay and 90% believe blockchain and digital assets will have a significant or massive impact on business, finance, and society in the next 3 years, that's a big deal, and almost half of the Asian Pacific finance leaders plan to use crypto for cross-border payments, for immutability, for transparency, for better liquidity leveraging public networks. And the future is not 100% public, the future is not 100% private, the future is going to be hybrid, connecting the best of both of these worlds, connecting the features of privacy, but also public and transparent features for certain information with much better security leveraging public networks. We know payments are going to grow, even BCG estimating that cross-border payments is going to grow to 250 trillion over the coming years, I believe by 2027. And with the growth of payments, cashless transaction volume or digital transaction volume is set to increase over 100% by 2025. So the big news we got yesterday for the Ripple SEC case is that Judge Torres actually denied the SEC's motion to file an appeal. And this is a massive win, not just for XRP, but for a variety of assets and the dozens of assets the SEC has called a security. Buying and selling it in secondary markets and buying and selling on exchanges is 100% legal, and XRP is not a security. So since the SEC's motion for this appeal was denied, which means the case either goes to trial in April of 2024 over the coming months or goes away. And this order allowed the judge to explain parts of a ruling even better, making appeal that much harder for the SEC to win. So we have another great attorney, Fred, here, a must follow on Twitter. So what now for the XRP community and XRP holders? Trial in April of 2024, probably an 8-week trial if not longer. The pretrial motions will be filed December 23 and rulings early 2024 that will cut down even more of the SEC's case. Gotta love how long some of these lawsuits are. People think that the Ripple vs. SEC case is longer than usual, but it's actually just on a typical timeline for these types of lawsuits. After trial, there will be substantial post-trial motions by both parties. These will take a few months just for briefing, likely completed around September-ish of 2024. So Fred runs through a potential timeline here, but remember, we already got declaration that XRP is not a security, so in my mind, XRP is good to go. And please remember that I'm not an attorney or an expert at law, it's just my opinion. I think XRP's in the clear, and they're just trying to determine if they can find Ripple and for how much. And Fred says, bottom line, we're locked in for XRP not being a security from a judicial perspective until February of 2026 at the earliest. So XRP is not a security. The SEC can keep fighting it. They can try to get fines from Ripple. Maybe they do. But Ripple, the company, said they're sitting on $1 billion in cash. They're making acquisitions. They're expanding. They have an actual run rate in customers, so they're going to be able to afford it and pay it off, and therefore leverage XRP in their ecosystem even more. And here's a giant list of all of the assets and protocols that the SEC has called a security. Remember, in the past, they have said every single crypto is a security besides Bitcoin. Think about how silly the SEC is. They are using laws to regulate this asset class. Some of these laws are decades old, some are even 50 to 70 years old that they're referring to. These acts and regulation were created before the internet even existed. They've called Polygon, Cardano, Solana, Filecoin, Algorand, all of these assets securities. Algorand is not a security. We even saw video of Gary Gensler actually saying Algorand is amazing technology and you could run Uber on top of Algorand. And then he goes around and calls it a security, even though he's good buddies with Silvio Micali from his MIT days, who's the founder of Algorand. It doesn't smell right to me. And just because I believe Algo, the token of Algorand, is not a security, it doesn't mean that these companies are perfect. It doesn't mean that they didn't make any sales that they could get in trouble for. But the actual asset is not a security. I should be able to buy, sell, and trade it and hold it for the long term. And I agree with Quincy right here. He says, arguably, any layer 1 could be seen as not a security due to the decentralization of the network with the governance controls and incentive models that maintain autonomy of the network. So a lot of these L1 protocols, Algo, Casper, HBAR, etc., they're likely not securities. They're a lot more decentralized than some of these ERC20 tokens or products that are launched on top of a network. That's a different story. Like he says, 90% of those could be securities. But these actual layer 1 networks and protocols that can run a variety of applications and are decentralized through a bunch of validators and nodes, those are not securities. Next up for Hedera, so we have T-Mobile, we have the Hashgraph Association, and we have this Moflix Group or Moflix Group, not sure how to pronounce this. Remember that T-Mobile, the owner of them is Deutsche Telekom. Deutsche Telekom sits on Hedera's governing council, as you can see right here alongside LG, IBM, Google, FIS, and more. So this group's announced the integration of a non-custodial wallet into its mobile application, enabling DIDs or decentralized identities. Services including crypto payments powered by Hedera for its customers. Now remember that Hedera's actual Hashgraph, the network, is used for proof of reserves used by WorldPay. And WorldPay's annual payment volume is in the billions of dollars, a huge partner, and they were also acquired by FIS. So with this integration, the MVNO, or Mobile Virtual Network Operator, is positioning itself at the forefront of the intersection of telecoms and DLT, accelerating the mass adoption of Web3 by offering a secure and seamless gateway to Web3 services in partnership with the US leading 5G network. So enabling decentralized identity and crypto payments powered by Hedera. While Hedera's mainnet has surpassed 22 billion transactions thus far, their TPS has also gone up to over 1,533 transactions per second. And also for Hedera, we have this company named Acor. This is a software development firm that's focused on solving healthcare challenges with open data. And the US annual healthcare spend is $750 billion, and there are 198 annual US drug shortages. And DLT is going to be huge for healthcare, not just healthcare communication, but also supply chain and just tracking everything, preventing fraud with an immutable and public ledger. And this is an hour-long video put out by Hedera talking about Acor utilizing the decentralized Hedera HCS or Hedera Consensus Service to provide an innovative solution. So the CEO joined discussing how they're using Hedera's Consensus Service to address pressing issues in public health, utilizing Web3 to drive substance abuse prevention through real-time data and analysis. We have Casper this month at this Edge event, Reimagine the Future of Supply Chain with Casper Labs. We know today with ERPs, lifecycle management systems, there's a lot of setbacks. Struggling with quality assurance and QA because of incomplete lifecycle monitoring, increasing diversion and waste due to thefts, product recalls, non-conformance, maybe even fraud, and suffering from brand dilution because of counterfeiting, or being unable to open new markets and marketplaces. We have the team here previously at Deloitte, one of the big four. We have EY, we have UBS, you have Salesforce, Disney, Consensus, etc. And Casper's enterprise solutions can resolve issues faster by proactively notifying and predicting concerns internally so they don't become external issues. This isn't just avoiding product recalls and diversion, it's bringing a new level of efficiency, transparency, innovation that your consumers are demanding. And for enterprises to even stay competitive and relevant over the coming years are going to have to adopt these types of solutions. Their solution enhances asset authentication to a tap or a scan, providing instant verification of an asset's origin, its provenance, its whole journey through the supply chain, and authenticity. And also with upgradable features, it's a lot easier to stay compliant and update your codebase, assign keys, anything you need to do for better security, transparency, and efficiency, but also being able to upgrade anything necessary for compliance purposes. And their solution provides a unified lens to view and meet international, national, and local regulations, and how to approach compliance, reducing cost and labor. Next up, shared by the X Frontier, an absolute must follow. So we've talked about a large company, one of the country's largest automobile manufacturers, and they're using Casper. They're still under NDA, but we've talked about them in previous videos. And he talks about the tokenization of automobile leases, so leasing agreements and tokenizing them. And that's just one example of financial contracts, which is a $50 trillion market. And Nucleus Finance is aiming to standardize this with the Actus standard, one of the big three. So Actus accounts for 98% of all financial contracts. Financial contracts are very broad. There are trillions of dollars in this market. It is more than just leasing agreements. It can be any type of contract. And Nucleus Finance is 100% built on top of Casper Network. So for tokenizing these automobile leases, short-term benefits include overhead reduction, better reconciliation, increased revenue, and expanding product and price flexibility to better serve clients and adapt as needed. Long-term benefits include access to additional capital markets. So a lot of these applications and the benefits of tokenization is financial inclusion and also just connecting liquidity. So you can monetize new markets, it can be more efficient. And these companies that already are and will be tokenizing their assets or even products are going to be able to access brand new markets and create entirely new monetization opportunities. And of course, improved financial data or standardization across the board and transparency. So discussing Nucleus Finance and these smart financial contracts. And in today's ecosystem, it is super fragmented. We have all these walled gardens and silos, and there's no true interoperability. There's no true standard in similar messaging and formatting that all of these organizations are using in all different countries. And by tokenizing these cash flows using a similar standard across the board, it makes everything a lot more interoperable, but also much more efficient. It's machine readable, it's executable, it's auditable, leveraging a smart financial contract so you can trust that, and you don't have to trust some other third party. You can trust the code. And we'll finish up with this today, a few important points during a Q&A with the CTO of Casper Labs. Blockchain technology is so much more than cryptocurrency. Crypto is just an application of blockchain. Now for these public layer 1 networks specifically, using a crypto asset is actually very important to use for gas and computation costs and for validating and securing transactions. And what are the three main types of blockchain solutions available? The three main types of blockchain solutions for enterprises are public blockchains, private blockchains, and hybrid blockchains. Public blockchains are suitable for high-value assets or information already in the public domain, such as home title information. Private blockchains are ideal for sensitive information like medical data, patient records, customer data, etc. But hybrid blockchains combining the best of both worlds, combining private and public elements, allow transactional data to be stored privately while the asset transfers occur on a public chain. And so you can hash some of this private information to these public networks to get the security of a public network, which is a lot more secure. And just announcing the recent release of Casper 1.5, which basically already has a lot of the features that 2.0 will have. Discussing why interoperability is so important for blockchain adoption. You have different systems, you have lifecycle management, you have an ERP, you have databases. All of these systems are going to be running and connected to blockchain in the future. And interoperability means that blockchain tech can seamlessly integrate with the existing software and the tools that are used by the enterprises to ensure that data can be written to and read from the blockchain while maintaining compatibility with the broader technology stack. And that's why Casper doesn't require enterprises to adopt a new set of tools or programming languages. You want to fit easily into their existing tech stack, automatically allowing existing systems to write data to and read data from the blockchain, which minimizes licensing costs and ensures robustness by allowing multiple individuals within an organization to work with their familiar tech stack. And to finish up, looking at the Bitcoin price chart on the weekly time frame, comparing the halving dates, this purple circle, and just looking at how we've been performing thus far. We've been stuck in this range for over 200 days, basically since March, in between 24,800 to as high as 31,700. I can't wait until we can break out of this range and pick a direction. And typically, if you look at the performance or even just retracement levels during or before the halving, so let's start off here, drawing a Fibonacci retracement just on the candle bodies, high to low, going all the way across. You can see the halving date back in July of 2016, we actually retraced perfectly to the 702 with candle bodies before that date. And comparing our previous cycle and doing the same thing, Fib high to low in the weekly candle bodies, you could use wicks as well just to compare across the board. We still got a retracement up to the 618, almost the 702 before the halving. I know this was the March 2020 crash in Black Swan, but we still had a substantial retracement, much higher than what we've done today before the halving. And using the cycle high and the cycle low thus far and doing the same thing, just drawing on candle bodies, we haven't even surpassed the 3-2 Fibonacci retracement, not even the 50% retracement. Remember, previous cycles made it up to the 618 or 702. We're going to see in the future if the Bitcoin halving date is also going to lead to another massive bull run. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the like button, let me know your thoughts down below, and my link tree is linked in the top of this YouTube video description, with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.